Good afternoon. My name is Herbert. I'm Beekeeper CFO, and I'm excited to speak to you today and tell you a little bit about what we're building at Beekeeper. Let me start with the problem we solve. And I was excited before to see Flip up here, who gave an excellent introduction to the desk workforce. When our founders started, they saw a paradox. They saw that 80% of the global workforce work on the front line. That's people working in construction, retail, manufacturing, and so forth. 2.8 billion globally, very large number. But less than 10% of them use the digital tools the company provides. That means that the majority of the global workforce does not have adequate digital tools to work with. Why is that? When you dig a bit deeper, you realize that the majority of software and digital tools were built from knowledge workers for knowledge workers. But office work and frontline work are very different. It's two different realities. It's a bit like playing two different sports, say baseball and tennis. Different rules, different boundary conditions, different success factors. And they deserve different tools. You could try to bring a baseball bat to Wimbledon, chances are you will not win that Grand Slam. So what happens when you try to bring software that was built for desktop workers to the front line? Nothing. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. The tool is not used well. You keep status quo. You continue to rely on paper, bulletin boards, and manual processes. And that status quo, that being stuck in the past, that's very, very expensive. A recent Deloitte study found that the cost of low digital adoption for frontline workers is around $8,000 per worker per year. So if you imagine a company with 10,000 workers, that's 80 million per year. If you think about 2.8 billion workers globally, it's a massive problem and a massive opportunity. And this is where Beekeeper comes into play. Our just cause, our reason why we exist, is to connect frontline teams with everything they need to do great work so that workers live better lives and businesses thrive. For us, it all starts with the frontline worker. But how do we achieve this? We build a digital workspace that puts everything a frontline worker needs into their pocket. It connects workers with the people, processes, and systems they need to do great work every single day. It bridges the gap between what office workers have and what frontline workers need. And it consists of three parts. There's one part about collaboration and communication. There's a second part about employee services and a third part about productivity. And when we work with customers, we take them on a digital transformation journey. For many, the first problem we solve is around communication, reaching people. Let me give you an example. When COVID hit, some of our prospects came to us and said, I have to send physical mail letters to my employees to reach them, telling them the factory is closed, don't come to work tomorrow. And that was in 2020 and 2021, not that long ago. And when you add to that challenges around communication, language barriers, working across different locations, and the need of a business to work faster, to react faster, you realize you need to do better than pen and paper. So you need a digital tool like Beekeeper. Communication is essential, but it's only 20% or less of the total value of our platform. The second step in providing value is around employee services, extending the reach of your HR platform. Because many of the very modern HR information systems are excellent when it comes to knowledge workers and the office environment, but they fail at last mile delivery to the front line. And if you were to walk into a break room in a hotel, into a supermarket and so forth, you would see tons of paper. Shift plan on the wall, manual checklists, vacation requests on paper. And with Beekeeper, you can digitize all of that, which makes your workforce more productive, but most importantly, it speeds up the time between someone being hired and some being fully productive. The last step of our platform is productivity. When you pull a research report from any large consulting firm, be it BCG, McKinsey, and so forth, on the digital maturity of frontline industries, you'll find that those industries globally that are least behind, that are stuck in the past, are always frontline industries. So at Beekeeper, we built a workflow engine to digitize pen and paper, make your company safer, faster, and more productive. One of our customers in Switzerland is ABB, and they use Beekeeper to run a smart factory, including lean manufacturing and continuous improvement. How does what we do compare with other players in the market? When we look at the world, we see software built for knowledge workers and software built for frontline workers. And the other differentiation we see is your value proposition. What are you trying to solve? Are you a point solution solving a very specific problem excellently? Or are you a full tech stack, a frontline success system? We believe there is an emerging category around frontline success systems in a forgotten segment of the enterprise market. And we want to own that segment. And what we do seems to hit a nerve. These are some of our customers. As Marco said, they're in 150 countries globally. They are across 10 different frontline industries, but what they have in common is they all have 60, 70, 80% of their workforce working on the front line. And the list is getting longer and longer, partially driven by very powerful structural tailwinds. The first one is that since COVID started, more than 50% of organizations report that they spend more on communication tools. And when we look forward, that trend is set to accelerate. A recent Gartner study finds that up to 70% of future investment in mobile will go to frontline workers. Based on that traction, we are fortunate to have just raised a 50 million Series C in November 2020, which brings total funding to date for us to more than 100 million from some of the leading investors in Europe and the US. To summarize, we believe there is an emerging category in a forgotten segment of the enterprise software market. The market is massive, it's global, and it's supported by powerful industry tailwinds. We built a product that we believe has an unparalleled value proposition for that specific demographic that deserves a special tool. And looking forward, we're extremely bullish on the future and excited to build out our market leadership in that emerging category. Thank you for your time.